Las Vegas Sports Services NBA Weekly Report. I'm John Cranton in Las Vegas, joined by Jeff Saad of LVSS. We're going to take a look at some NBA betting trends, some Western Conference bubble teams, have some NBA trivia, some trends, and some road trips to keep in mind for the next week. But first, Jeff, you've been on a sizzling run in the NBA, 47-27-1 ATS, and the good times just keep right on rolling, including this week. So how can folks take advantage of this hot run?
Yeah, it's been 2 months now. I've been winning consistently since mid-January, since February 4th, even better, 47-27-1. My best bets in the NBA are 18-7, 72%. Overall, including college, 111, 77-2. That's almost 200 plays, and I'm hitting nearly 60%. That's you can't get much better than that. And I'm going to give everybody a chance to get on board. If you want to make money, just call LVSS. As simple as that. You're going to get a week of college and NBA, Player's Edge, and best bets. As I said, my best bets are on an 18-7 run in the NBA. You're going to get all for just $10. That will include Friday's NBA total game of the year. So just call LVSS at 1-866-575-8916. A week of college, NBA, Player's Edge, and best bets, just $10. 1-866-575-8916.
Okay, be sure and take advantage of a red-hot handicapper. And, Jeff, let's take a look at the 4 NBA teams where they have some spread trends going behind them right now. But more important, there are some reasons behind them, which means it's likely to continue unless you see some massive adjustment for the odds makers. What teams do you fall into that category?
Well, the Utah Jazz are right now a good over team. They're a terrible road team. They're a young team. Their defense is lacking when they get away from home. They're 10-23 straight up on the road, and they're also 18-15-1 over the total on the road. Overall, they're 17th in scoring defense. Their opponent field goal percentage is almost 46%. From the three-point line, they're allowing 37%. 4 of the last 5 road games have gone over. So right now, I look at the Utah Jazz as a team who, especially on the road, you want to look to go over the total, John.
Okay, and I'll take a look at the Charlotte Bobcats. We have here the worst team in the NBA, but that hasn't stopped them from being a money burner if you're going to back them. I mean, think about this for a moment. The Bobcats started the season 7-5. They were not a bad team. After that, they went 6-45, and a recent 4-18 spread run. So they're not only losing games, but they're not covering. Coming into this week, they had an 0-10 run, both straight up and against the spread before that stunning victory over the Celtics. And during that 10-game streak where they were losing, look what happened. They topped 100 points on offense just twice, and they allowed over 100 points in 9 of 11 games. And the 2 games that they didn't, they allowed 98 and 99 points. So this team is not doing anything well. The offense is 27th in the NBA in points scored. The defense is worse, 28th in points allowed. They are 3rd worst in the NBA at field goal shooting defense. That's 47% shooting by opponents. And they are a sieve defensively. Only the Kings and Cavaliers are worse. And as far as defending the three-pointer, they are 2nd worst in the NBA, .385 beyond the arc. So they're not doing anything right. And look at some of the guard play. Just talk about the guard play for a moment. Rookie Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, Ben Gordon, who's all about offense, Kemba Walker, and Gerald Henderson. No defensive stoppers in that group. And some of the spread trends are just horrifying. 20-40 against the spread when they face a team with a winning straight-up record. And when they face a team with a losing record, 7-22 against the spread. And if you want to look at totals, they're not good offensively on the road, 16-5 under the total. But I can't see any of those things changing simply because of how bad and dysfunctional this team is.
Yeah, and also the Brooklyn Nets, they're an interesting team lately. They're 5th best in scoring defense, 13-7 to the under the total last 20 games. 4 of the last 5 home games have gone under. They've scored at least 100 points just twice in the last 11 games. So you might want to look at the under at the Nets. They're, Darren Williams, George Johnson, good offensive players, but they play kind of a slow down game with the coach PJ Calissimo. One thing about the Nets, though, they weren't covering at home for a while. They went on a 9-17-1 against the spread run at home, but they have covered the last 2. They beat the Wizards and the Hornets. I had the Nets on Tuesday against the Hornets because of my angle that I've used a lot this year. It's been very successful. When a team loses a game they should win or get embarrassed, humiliated, like the Nets did on Monday when they lost to the 76ers. I go with that team the next time they play, and that happened, and then they won and covered against the Hornets. It also happened this week with the Celtics when they inexplicably got blown out by the Bobcats you were just talking about. Things happen like that. You can't really explain it. But the next night, I went with the Celtics because they were embarrassed and they won easily over Toronto, won and covered. So those are some of the angles I've been using this season. And as far as Nets are concerned, you might want to lean toward the under in their games, John.
Yeah, and you mentioned the Utah Jazz being a team that's young, very good on offense, but suspect on defense, particularly on the road. Well, another team is really identical to that, the Sacramento Kings. It's a team that's 6-28 on the road, but if you like to play totals, keep in mind this team is all about offense and no defense on a 13-3 run over the total. Why? Well, the offense is terrific, 11th in the NBA in points scored. You got a guard in Tariq Evans who's in a rookie contract that's going to be ending soon, so he's thinking about a payday. And his offense is not being affected at all, and this team is terrific offensively. But the defense, they don't care a lick about. 30th in the NBA in points allowed as a team, 105 points per game. And, Jeff, let me read you the three guards on the Sacramento Kings. Tariq Evans, Jimmer Fredette, and Isaiah Thomas Jr. Stop me when one of those is you hear a defensive stopper being named. They're all about offense, no defense. When the Kings play a team in the Western Conference, 22-8-2 over the total, and at home is really when you want to take a look at this team. 26-2 over the total at home. That happens a lot with teams. When young teams are at home, they're confident. They know the building, the lighting, the fans are rooting for them. So the offense can really click at home. And, of course, they don't give a lick about defense no matter where they play. On the road, maybe the offense isn't that good. But Sacramento Kings at home, a tremendous team as far as over the total. And there was a couple games this week where they won 115-113, won 12 points over the total. They beat the Suns 121-112, 24 points over the total. So these games aren't even close as far as totals with odds makers yet. Okay, let's take a look at the Western Conference bubble teams, because really there are no bubble teams in the Eastern Conference. But currently now in the West, the Lakers are taking over that spot. But right on their heels, we have Utah, Dallas, and the Blazers. So, Jeff, let's assess those three teams and see if they can maybe overtake the Lakers or not.
Well, the Lakers they were 9-3 since Jerry Buss passed away. It looked like they were going to be a team of destiny. They're going to make the playoffs. And then Kobe goes down with a severe ankle injury. But anybody else, I would say they're probably going to be out a few weeks. But with Kobe Bryant, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't miss any games. The guy is just phenomenally. He just does not miss a lot of games unless he absolutely has to. So we have to wait and see on that. It's hard to tell right now. The Jazz, as I said before, I don't think they're just not good enough on the road to get that 8th spot. And next week they have the Texas Triangle. They have to play at Houston, at San Antonio, and at Dallas in a 5-day span. That might kill the chances right there. And if teams can do what the Thunder did the other night, Thunder just totally shut down the Jazz inside the game, forced them to shoot from the outside, and they got blown out. If teams can do that, then the Jazz won't have much of a chance either. Other than that, though, I think the Mavericks right now might have even a better chance at the 8th spot than the Jazz. And the Lakers right now, you just can't. There's no way to know. They were looking good there for a while, but now it's questionable with Kobe's injury. It's just too hard to say right now, John.
Yeah, and the Dallas Mavericks are a team that's they're very different than the Utah Jazz. I think they're a very live team. It's a veteran team that is playing so well offensively and that's providing some wins, too. I mean, you got Dirk Nowitzki and O.J. Mayo leading an offense that is 7th in the NBA in scoring. And then there's the bench. This is kind of the wild card for this Dallas team. Very good, deep, and veteran bench. Elton Brand, Vince Carter, and Brandon Wright. And in a win this week against the Milwaukee Bucks, they shot 50% as a team. But notice the bench had 55 of their 115 points. That was a nice win. And, they lost at the rival San Antonio the other night by a point. But they were a big dog and lost by just 1 point. That's part of a run where they were 5-3 straight up, 6-2 against the spread. So this team is playing pretty well, this veteran team. Overall, they're on a 21-7 ATS run. And keep in mind that when you give this team at least 1 day of rest, 35-16 over the total. Factor in that offense. I mentioned 7th in scoring with the fact that they're number 2 in the NBA in free throws. The team really doesn't beat itself. They could use some better defense, but with their bench strength and their offense and their veteran experience, I think the Lakers need to be concerned about Dallas making a run. How about the other team, Jeff, the Portland Trailblazers?
A very inconsistent team. 15-5-2 against the spread the last 22 games versus a team with a winning record. They're only 8-20 against the spread against teams with losing records. They were on an 0-6 against the spread run, then a 7-2 against the spread run. They're 3 games out of the 8 spot right now. I don't think they have enough. They have some good young players. Damian Lillard, Nicholas Batum, LaMarcus Aldridge, good nucleus there. I don't think they have enough there to make the postseason this season, John.
Okay, let me give you some scheduling tips of teams that have some difficult stretches coming up. Well, first, the Milwaukee Bucks are in the opposite spectrum. They're playing 8 of the next 11 games at home. Then you got some road trips. Toronto Raptors playing 7 of 11 on the road. Memphis Grizzlies have a stretch playing 5 of 7 away. The Blazers, you just mentioned, have a 5-game trip coming up, and that's on the East Coast. And then beginning Monday, the Brooklyn Nets start an 8-game road trip. All right, Jeff, it's trivia time. Name the 5 worst teams in the NBA at the free throw line.
Well, I know the Nuggets and Lakers are 2 of them because they've been notoriously bad now for a while. And just Clippers, Nuggets, Clippers, Lakers, and not sure the other 2.
No, you did very well. Yeah, the Lakers and Nuggets are at the bottom of the list. Then you got the Pistons and the Hawks are in there, and then the Clippers are 5th. And it's rather surprising. There's not really a pattern there because the Nuggets and the Lakers, the Clippers, are strong teams, and then you got the Pistons thrown in there too. So, I mean, are the Lakers, is their bad spread record, is that associated anyway, do you think, with the fact that they can't hit free throws, or is that an overrated ATS stat?
It might be a small factor, but it's hard to handicap free throws. I think the most important stat would be how many times the team gets to the line, because that means that the other team could get in foul trouble, and also the more times you get to the line, the more shots you have to make. The more opportunities you have to make the shots. But as those 5 teams, 4 of them could be playoff bound, so obviously it doesn't make a big difference as far as winning and losing. Against the spread at the end of the game, it might cost you a few games, but right now I just don't, when I handicap, I don't really take free throw shooting into account too much, because there's really no way to tell whether a team is going to have a good or bad game at the line. So for Nuggets and Lakers, 2 worst teams, and they're both the Lakers. Lakers can make the playoffs, and Nuggets are having a fantastic year. So free throw shooting is just something that you just have to hope for the best for, John.
That's what they say when Dwight Howard goes to the line. Okay, well, that's going to wrap up
39
this show.
times.
Oh, exactly, the other night. But if you're looking for winning handicapping, if you like to win, well, Jeff has been on a remarkable run, not only his whole career, but since February, he's been on a 47-27 ATS run. It's the best time of year to get involved. So, Jeff, tell everybody how they can get involved with a very special you have going this week.
I'm also having a great week at the college conference tournaments. I was 5-1 on Thursday. You're going to get 1 week in college and NBA, Players Edge, and Best Bets. I'm 18-7 on the last 25 NBA Best Bets, all for just $10. And that's going to include my NBA Total of the Year, which goes on Friday. You're going to get plays every day. $10. Call LVSS at 1-866-575-8916, 1-866-575-8916.
All right, thanks for joining us, everyone. Jeff Saad and I will be back next Friday for another NBA report from Las Vegas. Good luck with the games, everyone.